The views, information, and opinions expressed during the following program are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent the views of Access Communications, its representatives, or its employees.
Okay, good evening everybody and welcome to Weyburn City Council for Monday, March 24th. Full house tonight, full agenda tonight. We've got lots of work to do. Everybody's here. We have a presentation tonight from the Department of Highways, which we're excited to hear. Library board appointment and then a bunch of tenders for some work around the city. So we have a busy night. I would say let's get things rolling. First order of business is approval of the minutes from the March 10th meetings. If I could get a motion.
Your Worship, I move that the minutes of the regular council meeting and the SPNP meeting held March 10th, 2025 be approved.
I'll second that, Your Worship.
Thank you. Any questions or errors or corrections that need to be made? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? Thank you. Any additions to the agenda, administration?
Yeah, thanks, Your Worship. There's no additions from administration tonight.
Councillors? Nothing? Thank you. Okay, moving on. Public hearings and notices. Now, we will have a public hearing tonight. It'll be a little bit later in the evening, but we'll just let everybody know that bylaw 2025-3494 and bylaw 2024-3495, I bet that's supposed to be 2025 as well. Yeah. Bylaw 2025-3495, those two changes, where the public hearings will be later under new business, I believe 9A. Anything else? No? Okay, so we will have tonight, as I said, delegations, proclamations, and petitions. So Ministry of Highways is here to talk about the work that's going to be happening very soon. In fact, some of it's already underway at the intersection of Highways 13 and 39, just west of town. So I would like to welcome Brad and his team from the Department of Highways to walk us through this. Councillors, ask your questions. Brad, I don't know if you want us to ask questions later or throughout, but you'll decide that and let us know. Thank you, by the way.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having us. I'm like Jeff said, I'm Brad Hannon. I'm the construction project manager for the 6 and 39 roundabout, or sorry, 13 and 39 roundabout in Twining. With me are my colleagues, Mike Smith, he's a senior project manager in construction. Matt Stevenson, he's the director of design, and as well as Josh Kerr, he's the senior project manager in design for this project. So I guess we can get rolling. Josh, I'll let you take the first little bit away.
So I guess I'll start with kind of what we're doing. We've got our project on 1339, which includes 5.8 kilometers of twinning on Highway 39 north of the existing twinning section, as well as a roundabout at the junction of 13 and 39. It works out to be about a $29 million investment in the corridor, and it's kind of the latest in our multi-year set of improvements along the corridor all the way from Regina down here to Weyburn, which include twinning, passing lanes, intersection, and various paving. Next slide, please. So the biggest thing why we're doing this is to improve the safety and efficiency of the corridor. We've heard, a number of things from all the constituents about the safety of the intersection at 1339. It's been a thorn, I think, in everybody's side for a long time. As well to kind of support our economy and support Weyburn and the southeast side of Saskatchewan as a whole. So kind of again, a project overview. We've got the roundabout work at the junction of 13 and 39, a big section of twinning north, as well as some minor intersection realignments and intersection work along the twinning area. We've also got a couple little intersection improvements on Highway 13, and then some improvements at Queen Street and Highway 39 as well. So for the roundabout, just kind of a little closer view, the roundabout itself is a little bit south of the existing intersection. It includes all approaches all the way up, so we're redoing some of the paving from just west of the co-op all the way up into the intersection and swinging everything around, as well as we're extending past the rail lines to the east. And then you can also see the little red line down where where Queen Street is. We've got a couple improvements there as well. So for the project, the contractor that was awarded the project is Potts Paving. The construction engineering will be handled by KGS Group. As I'm sure you've noticed, we've broken ground on this one very recently and have completed a bit of the crushing. The intent is to have the roundabout work all completed by fall of this year to try and limit the amount of, limit the impact to the community and the traveling public, with the twinning being completed at the end of 2026. So the big thing, I guess, why roundabout at 13 and 39? We did a stakeholder consultation. I think it was online. It was during kind of some of those COVID times. We presented a couple options, and after we received all the feedback from the stakeholders, the preferred option ended up actually being the roundabout. So some of the nice things about a roundabout is that it helps traffic flow evenly and safely and efficiently through the intersection. We're going to help reduce the need for people to crane their necks around like that we see at the existing intersection, which is a big problem. We generally reduce the number of conflict points. So any point where two vehicles can collide is what we call a conflict point. The fewer there are, the safer the intersection tends to be. And this is actually one of the options that required the least amount of land purchase. A good portion of it fits within the existing right-of-way. So specifically for the roundabout that we designed here, we designed it to accommodate oversized trucks. So we actually, the primary vehicle is a turnpike double semi, so two 53-foot trailers. Generally, they're only allowed on our 4-lane system, so we're planning for future development if Highway 39 ever gets twinned all the way. It includes the Highway 13 approaches, so we include an additional lane that crosses the CP tracks to ensure that we've got sufficient storage if there's a train, when there's a train, because we know they sit there regularly. The Queen Street North access ends up being closed for safety. There's minimal storage available there for vehicles to stop and turn safely, and to accommodate for the traffic accommodation, pardon me, during the construction, that access also needed to be closed to make sure that we maintained a lot of safety. And then the new turning lanes at Queen Street, I believe we've got a left turn and a right turn lane for Highway 39 to head south on Queen Street there. So the roundabout, the speed will be reduced to 50 kilometers an hour in the roundabout, with a 40-kilometer advisory speed limit generally for larger vehicles. So that's our orange signs, our yellow signs. All of the curbing within the roundabout is rollover curbing, so large vehicles shouldn't have any issues navigating if we've got oversized traffic like house moves, turbine blades, things of that nature. If they need to, they can actually roll straight over the center of the roundabout. All of the pavement markings are going to be, we call them durable inlaid markings. Basically, we mill out some pavement and pour in plastic, so they tend to last longer. They don't have to be repainted every year, and they still maintain reflectivity. So to help increase the safety at the intersection. As well, the intersection will be fully lit with streetlights once it's completed. That'll happen after all of the work is done, but we do have the designs all set up for that. So I'm going to pass it back over to Brad for the construction side.
Perfect, thanks, Josh. So construction, as you've probably noticed, began in March 2025, and we have had a little slower time at the end of the month. It's expected to resume in the early spring with some more culvert work, as well as full-on roundabout and twinning work. During that time, Queen Street North access will be removed, and we will have a two-way traffic on Highway 39. So during our sequencing, one lane will be closed and will be switched over to two-way trafficking. Highway 13 detours will take place on Rage Road 2151, as well as Highway 35 with our agreement with the city. So the impact to drivers, you can expect some delays during this construction. It will be reduced speeds. We ask that the public will obey all signs and to plan your trip ahead. Give yourself some extra time if you're traveling through Highway 13 and 39, and always check the highway hotline. We're constantly updating it. So the impact on safety, the safety of everybody is vital. So the safety of all the public, the safety of our workers, and we just want to thank everybody for their patience traveling through this. So when the project is finished, highway travel through Weyburn and area will be better, safer, and more efficient, and this will benefit all of Saskatchewan. So I'll get into a little bit of our sequencing plan for the roundabout. So right now our roundabout is split into 3 sequences. So sequence 1 is the construction of the southwest corner of the roundabout, which we started on already. So like I said, construction is to continue in early spring. Queen Street North access, we've been communicating with Renee on this, will likely be closed middle of April during this time. And then the southbound lanes along Highway 39 will be closed and traffic will be diverted to 2-lane traffics through the northbound lanes along Highway 39. As well, traffic along Highway 13 west of the intersection will be detoured up Range Road 2151 and have to come down Highway 39. So the next sequence would be sequence 2. It's the construction of our northeast portion of the roundabout. The northbound lanes along Highway 39 will be closed during this sequence, and traffic will be diverted to 2-way traffic along the southbound lanes of Highway 39. Eastbound traffic on Highway 13 to southbound on Highway 39 will be closed, and traffic will be detoured through south on Highway 35. So sequence 3 is the construction of the southeast portion of the roundabout. This is the last portion of the roundabout construction. So during this sequence, the northbound lanes along Highway 39 will be closed and traffic will be diverted to 2-way traffic along the southbound lanes. Eastbound lanes along Highway 13 will also be closed during that portion. That's pretty much it for this. I will mention that it is up to the contractor. They can propose a different sequencing plan. However, the ministry will have to approve it to go ahead. Also, the twinning will be taking place at the same time during the roundabout, but it's got a completion date of 2026, so not this year. There is a chance they could get it done this year, but there's no promises to be made. So.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
You're open to some questions, I hope?
I'm open to some questions, yeah.
You'll be open to some questions, so I will just go around the room. I'll start first with council. Do any councilors have questions for the team here from the Department of Highways? Yeah, Councillor Higgs.
Thank you. Thanks for the presentation. And some of these questions that I think you're going to hear, probably maybe you've heard before.
Yep.
I just want, for the sake of clarity, roundabouts you said could handle a house or whatever. So large grain headers on the front of a combine, 40-foot headers, 50-foot headers, they're okay?
They'll let design, but
Yeah, generally there shouldn't be any issues. So we have 2 lanes, both north and south, in both directions. So we're going to be able to accommodate wider traffic that way without bumping over into any of the extra area. And then we've also got truck aprons, basically outside of the lanes. We've got, I think, 8 meters on the center island and then 4 meters on the outside curves to accommodate those. And then should any larger traffic than that come through, you can actually go right over the center of the island. All of the curbing is mountable curbing. Yeah. So like you'd see coming into your driveway, I think the tall stuff is 6 inches and the short stuff is 4 inches. So none of it's particularly large, but it's enough to manage the drainage in the area and kind of guide traffic.
Okay. The only other thing I have is a comment, and I never even thought about it till today, where 2151 intersects 13 highway.
yeah.
You can't get across it with a lowboy. The highway does this and the road does that. So you might want to look at that.
Okay. Yeah, we'll look
that
at
in
that.
mind.
Yeah, we'll take a look at that. Thank you. Yep.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Corrigan?
Thank you, Worship. Thank you for the presentation. Just curious, you said that there are turning lanes being put in for Queen Street on Highway 39. Are there turning lanes being put in on Highway 13 to Queen Street?
I don't know.
Not that I do not believe so.
I'm just wondering, because of the fact that that northbound intersection is being closed, that'll divert a lot of traffic into that industrial area and create a lot more traffic through that particular intersection.
And that's something that we can, I'll take that back and make sure that we monitor it. I'm not sure exactly what the traffic increase will look like at that location. I know it's primarily, I think it's industrial traffic that primarily uses that. So that's something that we'll keep in mind, and we will take back and monitor and make sure that if we need to look at turning lanes at that location, we'll.
But as of right now, that's not part of it?
As of right now, that's not the plan.
Yeah, it's not included in this project, no.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, Councillor Sidlowski.
Can we just talk about funding? There's been questions from the community asking the city why money's being spent on this when we know that isn't the case, but can you just explain that so that everyone could hear where the funding's coming from?
Yeah, so the funding for this project is provided by the provincial government as well as a partnership with the federal government. The city hasn't contributed anything as of yet. No, but no, the city hasn't contributed anything.
Mic off.
This is all the provincial and federal government funding this.
Wonderful, thank you.
Yep.
Councillor Janke.
So you briefly touched on some of the alternatives that were considered before you went with the roundabout. As I recall, most of those had traffic lights involved. I'm basing this question entirely on your earlier comment about you could drive over the center island. Given that, is it fair to say that this design is less obstructive to traffic, large traffic like that, than those traffic lights might have been?
Generally, yes. That there are ways to handle large traffic with traffic lights. You can put them on rotatable bases. Anytime we have large traffic like that come through the province, they need a special permit and they need to have plans in place on how they're going to address any of the items and locations that they come past. Hopefully this is going to be a more straightforward design for them to maneuver through than something like traffic lights where they have to get third parties in to rotate bases. But this is going to be the first roundabout that we put on our provincial highway system. So I think ultimately we'll see exactly how it works the first time we see a load like that through. But in other jurisdictions, it's worked very well. So that's a lot of what we're hoping to see here as well. Especially once people get used to it, I think we're going to see people flowing through it, and we're going to see a lot fewer near misses than we see, especially at our current intersection there.
Thanks. Yep, Councillor Morissette.
Thank you, Your Worship. Do you guys happen to have education pieces? I know, communities like Yorkton, Saskatoon, they already have roundabouts. We're not used to them down here. Is there something that we can give out as council to the general public to say, hey, this is maybe how you use a roundabout, or just kind of give them a bit of a heads up?
That's something we could take back with us and look at considering. Yeah, you can see back there, Matt's making a note.
I'm sure we can get something put together.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, great, thanks. That's it. Administration, any questions or anything you'd like to add? The Director of Engineering, any commentary at this point? No?
No, I just want to thank you guys again for coming. I really appreciate it. Good.
Okay. Thanks.
And I want to echo that, Your Worship. Thanks for the support you guys have provided and the meetings you've provided to both us and the RM to discuss the roundabout, and the additional education will be really appreciated as well. Provide that out, but we're looking forward to having this done in our community. So thank you for the work you guys have done so far.
Yep.
Thank you for having us out. Yep.
Just hang on, guys. Councillor Hagues, one more question.
Sorry, the twinning that's going to happen in 2026 as you go, I'll call it northwest on 39. Can you give us sort of a geographical location of how far that goes out? Like
so if you zoom back a few slides, you'll see the location plan. Keep going. It's maybe slide 3 or 4. Yeah, that one right there. So it basically starts at the end of the twinning right now, and it goes almost just shy of 6 kilometers to the northwest.
It's Range Road 2152.
Yeah,
That's just past the terminal.
yeah.
Yeah, we go, so there's the grain terminals, and then there is one more grid road intersection or two that are very close together, and then we start to taper back in after that.
Yeah, if you remember the transmission lines they had there, they just moved them. That's our tie-in point, is right at those transmission lines.
Okay. Yeah, I think people will
Yeah.
really appreciate that.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
just wanted to mention that.
Okay, I think that's it. I would also thank you guys. I know this has been a lot of years, 3, 4, 5 years this has been kicking around. So I know in government terms, that's pretty quick, so good job. So just to be clear, we could probably expect Queen Street to be closed up here, that south access, in about 3, 4 weeks from now?
Yeah, middle of April is what we've
Yeah.
been communicating to
Okay.
Renee. Yep.
Yeah, and then the work is already started, will continue to go. Expectation is?
Is a roundabout completion of this fall. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yep.
Very good. Thanks for that, you guys.
Thank you so
Coming
much.
down.
Past Queen Street, like keep coming.
Yeah.
That would be helpful.
And Highway
If you could
35.
turn left at the 7-Eleven and then go north, if you could. What's that?
Technically, it's hard.
Yeah. Yeah. So you'll take that back? Yeah, okay, good.
And if you have any asphalt left over, there's a terminal road from 39 to 13.
I've stopped taking notes.
Okay, oh. Nah, that's right. Yes. Thanks so much, you guys, all seriousness. This is a great project, and we look forward to seeing it move ahead. All right, we'll continue down our agenda. Next up is reports of standing committees, and I believe Councillor Sedlowski, you're up.
Yes, thank you, Your Worship. I have an update from Weyburn Arts Council, also known as WAC. We had our AGM last week. WAC celebrated our 60th anniversary, and I thought I would share a few highlights. WAC partnered with Collaborative Studios and launched Regifted, a new micro bursary for anyone over 18 in the community looking for a little extra support. Several members also represented Weyburn Arts Council at the Organization of Saskatchewan Arts Council Showcase in Saskatoon. One of the attendees was our junior WAC rep, Nori Caudell. I'd also like to congratulate the winners of the James Weir People's Choice. We had 1,353 ballots cast. Third place went to Barry Lautner, second place went to Sarah Irwin, and first place went to Pauline Leapy. A big congratulations to everyone who took part this year. We have some incredibly talented artists in the community.
Thanks, Councillor Sedlowski. Yeah, that was really good. Our Arts Council has got quite a reputation in the provincial arts community. We should be proud of that. That event on Friday night was fantastic. So, yeah, absolutely great. Okay, was there anybody else? I don't think so. Nope, we'll keep going. Next up is our consent agenda. In that, the building report, the cash activity report, and the public works report.
Your Worship, I'd like to move that the following items on the consent agenda be approved. Building report for February, cash activity report for January, and public works report for February.
Thanks, Councillor Bedore. Get a seconder?
Your Worship, I'll second that.
Thank you. Any comments or questions on those three reports? Hearing nothing, then I'll call the question. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you very much. For those interested in reading them, they'll be on the city website. Next up is a appointment to the library board. City Manager Warren, I'll let you quarterback that one.
Yeah, thanks, Your Worship. So the Mayor and Council of the City of Weyburn establishes committees, commissions, and boards, and appoints members of council and/or citizens to those bodies. So at the most recent Public Library Board meeting, a motion was passed to recommend that Kathy Dennis be added to the board for the remainder of 2025. So my recommendation tonight is that City Council appoint Kathy Dennis to the Weyburn Public Library Board.
Thanks. Can I get a motion?
Your Worship, I'm happy to make the motion that Council appoint Kathy Davis to the Weyburn Public Library Board for the rest of 2025.
Thank you. And a seconder?
Your Worship, I'll second that motion.
Thank you very much. Any comments or questions? Yes, Councillor Morissette.
Just again, a huge thank you to Ms. Davis for submitting her name to be part of the Weyburn Public Library Board. Despite the fact that we do name all of those committees in January, we will accept anybody who wants to volunteer to any of the city committees throughout the year, and we'd love to have anybody who has some extra time.
Well said. Well said. Anything else? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Yes, and thank you, Kathy, for volunteering. It's a good thing you do. All right, no bylaws to introduce. However, in unfinished business, we have got a couple of bylaws that we have to deal with now. So we would have had first reading of these bylaws a few council meetings ago, January, perhaps, February it was. So we're here tonight. First off, we're going to do a public hearing, then we're going to do a second and third reading of those. So we will do them separately, but before we get to that, I would ask our Planning and Development Coordinator, Malcolm, to give us a report.
Okay. A zoning bylaw amendment application and corresponding official community plan amendment application has been submitted by Bill Volbrecht. The amendment is to change the zoning of 325 Queen Street, described as Block C, Plan 101456096, from highway commercial to medium industrial. The property was privately owned. After council gave first reading at the February 24th, 2025 regular council meeting, public notices went out in accordance with the city's public notice policy for the public hearing. Notices were advertised in the March 12th and March 19th edition of the Weyburn Review and posted at City Hall and on the city's website. Additionally, neighborhood notices were mailed to all property owners within a 75-meter radius of the property. No responses were received. The proposal is for Bill Volbrecht to expand his business, A&B Concrete, to the mentioned property. The proposal is also meant to eliminate the need for the continuation of a zoning contract, which allows the operation of Fido's Place, which is also located on the property. The official community plan and zoning amendments are required to facilitate both developments, as the subject property is currently zoned highway commercial, which limits specific commercial development. So, under the official community plan, the property is currently designated highway commercial. The applicant is requesting that the lands be designated medium industrial on the land use designation map of the official community plan. The purpose of this designation is to provide medium industrial lands to businesses that require it. The property is currently zoned highway commercial, and the applicant has requested that the lands be rezoned to medium industrial, to MI, which is medium industrial zone, which would allow for the expansion of his business, categorized as processing rock and gravel under discretionary use. Kennel for commercial breeding and boarding purposes is also a discretionary use under the medium industrial zoning classification. And this is highlighted in the table below. Both Bylaw 2025-3494 and Bylaw 2025-3495 were presented at the February 25th, 2025 District Planning Commission meeting for input. No concerns were raised. Official community plan amendments must be approved by the Minister of Government Relations. After final reading of Bylaw 2025-3495, it will be submitted to the province for ministerial approval. Both bylaws will take effect upon ministerial approval. Council options. Option 1, give second and third reading to Bylaw 2025-3495, being a bylaw to amend the official community plan to designate the above-mentioned lands as medium industrial on the future land use map and land use designation map. Council gives second and third reading to Bylaw 2025-3494, being a bylaw to amend the zoning bylaw to rezone the above-mentioned lands from medium industrial on the future land use and land use designation map. Council directs administration to submit Bylaw 2025-3494 and Bylaw 2025-3495 to the Minister of Government Relations for approval. Option 2, Council refuses to give second and third reading to Bylaw 2025-3494 and Bylaw 2025-3495 and direct administration to advise the applicant of the refusal based on the following reasons. Any officer making a motion for refusal shall provide reasons for the refusal. Staff recommendation, option 1, that council gives second and third reading to both bylaw 2025-3494 and bylaw 2025-3495 to amend the official community plan and the zoning bylaw as mentioned above. Additionally, council directs administration to submit bylaw 2025-3494 and bylaw 2025-3495 to the Minister of Government Relations for approval.
All right, thank you very much. So before we get on with this, now I will advise that this will be the public hearing part of this bylaw change. There's 2 bylaws that are being changed. So I will declare this public hearing open. So anybody that wants to is more than welcome. I can see the gallery is packed. So anybody that wants to come forward and ask a question, the only thing we ask is that you identify yourself prior to speaking. I'm just going to give this another couple of seconds, and I'm going to say that we probably aren't. So I am going to call this closed. Very good. Thank you very much, by the way. Good work. So we will look now to get the second reading. Let's start first with bylaw 2024-3494. That is the zoning bylaw amendment.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'd like to make a motion that council gives second reading to bylaw 2025-3494, being a bylaw to amend the zoning bylaw to rezone the above-mentioned lands from medium industrial on the future use and land use designation.
Thank you. And a seconder?
Your Worship, I would second that motion.
Thank you. Okay. Any further conversations, questions, clarity on this from anybody? Coordinator Malcolm, if I could I just want to be sure that we have done our due diligence. So we have reached out and contacted all the businesses that are impacted in that area. No change to anything that anybody's doing as a result of this.
Correct.
Correct. Secondly, we've been clear with our District Planning Commission. They've seen this. They're comfortable with it. They've endorsed it, said it's a great idea. Move ahead.
Correct.
Yes, thank you. And then tonight, council has 2 options, yes or no, basically, right? Mm-hmm. That's it. Okay. Does that sum it all up?
Pretty much.
Very good. Thank you. All right. Anything else? If not, I'll call the question. Very good. All in favor? Thank you. And now we'll take the third.
Thank you, Your Worship. I move that council gives third reading and pass bylaw 2025-3494, being a bylaw to amend the zoning bylaw to rezone the aforementioned lands from medium industrial on the future use and land use designation.
And I would second that motion.
Thank you. Okay, last chance. Any questions? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you very much. Now, on to 3495, the OCP amendment.
Thank you, Your Worship. I move that council give second reading to bylaw 2025-3495, being a bylaw to amend the official community plan to designate the above-mentioned lands as medium industrial on the future lands use and land use designation map.
Seconder?
I'll second that motion.
Thank you. All right, this is our opportunity. Any last questions, comments, concerns on this one? No? Hearing none? Call the question. All in favor? That's carried.
I will move that council gives third reading and pass bylaw 2025-3495, being a bylaw to amend the official community plan to designate the above-mentioned lands as medium industrial on the future lands use and land use designation map.
Thank you. And a seconder.
I will second that motion.
Thank you. Okay, last chance. Questions? Hearing none? Call the question. All in favor? Thank you. That is carried. That is an awful lot of reading, Councillor Sedlowski. Well done. That is. I'm glad those are done, and I'm sure that Charlie is glad they're done as well, so she can move on with that. Okay, on to new business. We've got 4 items here. We will start once again with our Planning and Development Coordinator, Malcolm, to talk about a billboard application.
Thank you. An application has been received from Prairie Sky Co-op for the construction of a billboard at 325 Queen Street. The billboard will be a standard non-LED single-sided sign facing Highway 39. All height, size, and setback standards are met. and with no negative off-site impacts expected. And this is just where they're proposing to put the billboard, where the yellow star is. The submitted application from Prairie Sky Co-op is for the placement of a standard non-LED billboard within the boundaries of 325 Queen Street, legally described as Block C, Plan 101-456-096. The sign will be 4.5 meters or 15 feet to the top of the sign and has a surface area of 18.5 square meters or 200 square feet with solar power lights for illumination, solar powered lights. The zoning bylaw 2020-3412 outlined that billboards on privately owned properties can be located in most zoning districts with the exception of any residential zones. They must have a maximum height of 15 meters with a maximum surface area of 9 square meters per face. The intended billboard falls below the minimum zoning requirements for this size. So council options. Option 1, council approves the application 2025.001 for the placement of a billboard at 325 Queen Street without further conditions. Or option 2, council approves application 2025.001 for the placement of a billboard at 325 Queen Street with the following conditions. No portion of the billboard shall be located within 0.3 meters of any property line abutting a street. No portion of the billboard shall be located within 23 meters of an intersection of streets as determined by the development officer. There is to be no direct illumination that impedes vehicular traffic or interferes with traffic signals. Option 3, council directs the development officer to refuse the billboard application 2025.001 for the following reasons. The officer making the motion for refusal should provide reasons for the permit's refusal in their motion. Staff recommendation, option 2, although the billboard will be constructed on a privately owned property and is adherent to the site restrictions, there are additional clearance requirements according to zoning bylaw 2020-3412 that the applicant must follow.
Thank you very much. Okay, can we get a motion to get this on the floor?
Your Worship, I'll make the motion that council approves the application for 2025.001 for the placement of a billboard at 325 Queen Street with the conditions outlined by administration.
Thank you. And a seconder?
Your Worship, I'll second that motion.
Thank you. Any questions or commentary on this particular project? None? Yeah, Councillor Bedore.
Is the process for them to get permission from the landowner first and then come to us?
Yeah, so they have to get permission from the landowner before they submit their application.
Anybody else? If I may, I just want to be sure. Now, we just heard about the closing of that south entrance onto Queen Street. This is in that same area. So is there any risk of construction delays or anything for either party as a result of this installation?
No, there won't be any obstructions.
They're far enough away from one another?
Yeah,
Okay, so-
and they will enter through the property's entrance, not Queen Street.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, I think that's it. Hearing nothing more, I'll call the question. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you very much. Thank you, Shirley. That is a lot of work. All right, let's spend some money. It is time. First up is concrete replacement. Recommendation for award, and I will turn this one over to the Director of Engineering.
Thank you. So the City of Weyburn has allocated $75,000 for the 2025 concrete replacement projects from the following budgets. $50,000 is budgeted under the Public Works Operating Fund for pedestrian ramps and sidewalk repairs, and $25,000 is budgeted under the Public Works General Operating Fund for trip hazard repairs. The 2025 concrete RFP consisted of the installation of approximately 141 square meters of new reinforced accessible concrete pedestrian ramps and approximately 160.5 square meters of sidewalk panel repairs and replacements at various locations. On February 25th, 2025, a request for proposal for the 2025 concrete replacement program was posted on the city's online bidding portal, Bids and Tenders, SAS Tenders, and the city's website. Proposals were to be received by the City of Weyburn by March 13th, 2025 at 1 p.m. A total of 4 bids were received. They are summarized in the table below and include PST. All proposals submitted were evaluated with a weighted score on the selection criteria consisting of schedule for 20%, past performance 20%, and previous relevant experience 20%, and proposed fees for 40%. It is recommended that the 2025 concrete replacement projects be awarded to Rack and Root Construction of Weyburn, Saskatchewan, less 45 square meters of sidewalk panel replacements and less 59.5 square meters of accessible pedestrian ramps, for a total of $75,000 to stay within the allocated budget.
All right. We'll get a motion to get it on the floor.
Your Worship, I would move that the 2025 concrete replacement projects be awarded to Rack and Root Construction, less 45 square meters of sidewalk panel replacements and less 59.5 square meters of accessible pedestrian ramps, for a total of $75,000 to stay within the allotted budget.
Thank you. And a seconder.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you. Any questions or comments for the Director of Engineering on this one? It is, yeah, Councillor Bador.
Renee, just wondering how we go about choosing which areas are prioritized during these projects.
Okay, for sidewalks, we do have a list of our assets in our CGIS database. They're also based on severity of trip hazard, condition of the asset, as well as the volume of foot traffic, and then as well as adjacent construction areas. So if we are working on some repaving of a street and curbing, the sidewalk will usually get prioritized just so that the construction area stays within one area at a time that way. So a little bit of analysis that way. Yep.
Thank you. Yeah, Councillor Corrigan.
Thank you, Your Worship. So I'm going through the budgeting process. Obviously, we budgeted $75,000 for the amount of work that we were looking at. Have the costs risen that substantially that we're having to reduce the amount that we're doing?
Yeah, so it seems like the costs do continue to rise. We do try to estimate the area as close as reasonably possible to our budget, but it is a challenge because we don't know what the markup and what where the contractor is going to come out of and what their prices are going to be at the end of the day. So we try to base it on the previous year's pricing and stay within that allocated budget. But yeah, it's kind of a guess sometimes.
Yeah, but this is kind of a pattern that we're seeing from year to year.
Yeah.
With the increased costs, trying to, as you said, allocate enough based on what we've done in the past, but finding out going into the next year that sometimes it's not enough for what we thought it might be.
Yeah, it's a challenge, and yeah, I don't know. It's just it's
hard
tough,
question to put you. I mean,
sorry.
you can't predict the future, but
Yeah.
it's just a trend that we're starting to see.
I think your question, more around is it the cost of the goods, right? The concrete, the rebar, all of that is just getting too hard to estimate.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to estimate, but I try to be on a little over the, I'd rather have it all out there and see what the costs are coming in and reduce the work scope than have it come completely under budget when I have such a backlog of things that need to be replaced and then try to add it on later. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Super. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah. Any other questions on this one? Yeah, Councillor Sadlowski.
I just wanted to say it's great to see it going to a local company, so.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, it's
Yep.
good.
Agreed. Okay, hearing nothing else, I will call the question. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you very much. Next up, it is traffic lights at 5th and 1st. That street redone last year, so time for the intersection. We'll go back to the Director of Engineering.
Okay. The traffic signal lights at the intersection of 5th Street and 1st Avenue North require replacement due to the aging and obsolete infrastructure. The pedestrian crossing lights at the northwest and southeast corners of the intersection of 3rd Street and Highway 39 were damaged beyond repair this winter and also require replacement. The budget for the 2025 traffic light replacement project is $300,000. On February 10th, 2025, a request for proposal was posted on the city's online bidding portal Bids and Tenders, SAS Tenders, and the city's website. Proposals were to be received by the City of Weyburn by March 10th, 2025 at 4 p.m. A total of 3 proposals were received. The bids are summarized below and include PST. Proposals submitted were reviewed to ensure bidders understood the scope of work involved, had similar project experience, the required qualifications, and to ensure the project delivery schedule could be met. All of the proposals met the full requirements, with Isles Electric Limited holding the lowest bid. The city pre-purchased the new traffic controller cabinet and corresponding power supply for the 5th Street and 1st Avenue intersection directly from the supplier for approximately $33,000 from the 2025 budget. The scope of services of this project includes all labor and civil works for the installation of the traffic signal infrastructure, which includes the replacement of the corresponding underground infrastructure and new foundations for the poles and the traffic controller cabinet, and the supply of all materials, excluding the traffic controller purchased this year, and 1 pedestrian light pedestal pole, and a set of 8 pedestrian crossing signal heads and push buttons purchased last year. So those are the materials that the city is supplying for this project. It is recommended that the traffic signal replacement at 5th Street and 1st Avenue and the pedestrian crossing light replacement at 3rd Street and Highway 39 be awarded to Isles Electric Limited for $302,122, including PST. This would be a total project overage of $35,122, including PST, to be covered by an external loan. So that overage includes the pre-purchased traffic controller cabinet.
Great. Okay, I'd look for a motion to get this on the floor.
Your Worship, I move that the traffic signal replacement at 5th Street and 1st Avenue and the pedestrian crossing light replacement at 3rd Street and Highway 39 be awarded to Isles Electric for $302,122, including PST, with the project overage of $35,122, including PST, to be covered by an external loan.
Thank you. And a seconder?
I'll second that, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Morissette. Okay, questions? Yes, Councillor Morissette.
Thank you, Your Worship. Director of Engineering, Renee, was this something that no local person or local business could bid on just because of the scope of the work?
It was posted publicly, so it was open for any local contractor to put a bid on. I can't comment on why or if there was a local company that could have bid on it, but it was posted publicly through SAS Tenders and our portal. And had, there is some requirements for some qualifications on the electrical side. As for the civil works, it could have probably been bidded on by, a larger contractor, but yeah, it's.
Sorry, I should have phrased it better. Just because of the scope of the type of work, it's not just something that a regular electrician could just walk in and hook up really quickly.
Oh, yeah. For the electrical side, there still is certain requirements when you're working with traffic signal lights, for sure, yeah.
Any other questions? Councillor Corrigan?
Am I correct in remembering that these were damaged through a vehicle collision, the ones at 3rd and 39? Did that occur this winter?
One of them was historically damaged, I think, a few times on the the northwest corner, and then I think one was damaged this winter, yeah.
Yeah. Is there any, are we covered through insurance on that at all, through, when it's a vehicle collision at all?
That's something the administration can look a little further into to see what happened with that claim and what kind of damages happened through that.
Yeah, I'm just curious regarding that, and if there's anything more we can do to protect those particular investments from
Yep.
that happening in the future.
That's something we can look into further.
Thank you.
Yeah, good question. Anybody else? Just 2 points of clarification, if I could. Number one, what's the time frame for this job?
The timeframe for this job is between July and September, so construction would take place in the summer months, just because that is a major bus route for the school over there.
Yeah.
So it's the construction season between that July and September this year.
Okay. Then I just think there's going to be lots of traffic interruptions in our community this year, so we just want to think that through.
Yep.
Second piece, I know that we're all adjusting to the new style, the new timing of traffic lights at 16th and 1st. As we go down that road, will all of our lights start to function that way? And I hope they do, by the way. Now that I'm used to it, I prefer it, but it took me a while. Will the next sets of lights function like that as well?
This next set on 5th Street and 1st does include that same side street detection with the camera. And as we continue to replace each intersection, we probably will actually continue to upgrade with whatever technology is available, or at least consider it for sure. Yeah.
Very good. Thanks for the insights. Okay, if that's all, then I will call the question. All in favor? Thank you. And finally, this is water infrastructure replacements, and I will turn it once again to the Director of Engineering.
All right. In 2025, the city budgeted $555,000 for water and wastewater infrastructure improvements. The proposed work was divided into 3 parts as follows. Number 1, water main replacements at 2 locations. Number 2, street valve replacements at 9 locations. Number 3, fire hydrant replacements at 8 locations. Contractors have been requested to submit a bid on all 3 parts such that they will be awarded together as one project. Therefore, the contractor must be able to commit to completing all 3 parts of the work scope in the 2025 construction year. On February 5th, 2025, a request for proposal was posted on the online bidding portal Bids and Tenders, SAS Tenders, and the city's website. The RFP was divided into 3 parts, as above, and bidders were informed they were required to bid on all parts. Quotations were to be received by the City of Weyburn by Monday, March 10th, 2025 at 4 p.m. A total of 1 proposal was received. That bid is summarized below and includes GST and PST. Proposals submitted were reviewed to ensure bidders understood the scope of work involved, met the requirements, and to ensure the project delivery schedule could be met. The bidder that submitted the proposal met the requirement of the tender and was a valid bid. The bid price for Part 1 includes the supply of all materials, equipment, and labor for the full scope of work. There has been $120,000 from the 2025 water main replacement budget allocated for the repaving of the 2 water main trenches following the underground infrastructure replacement work. The city pre-purchased the valves and hydrants in the 2024 budget for Part 2 and Part 3. Therefore, the 2025 bid price for these parts only include labor, equipment, and the supply of the backfill material only. It is recommended that the 2025 water infrastructure replacement project be awarded to A&B Concrete Limited for $406,238.47, including taxes.
All right, thank you very much. Going to get a motion.
Your Worship, I'll make the motion that the 2025 water infrastructure replacement project be awarded to A&B Concrete Limited for $406,238.47, including taxes.
Great. Seconder?
Your Worship, I'll second that motion.
Thank you very much. All right, questions or comments for the Director of Engineering on this? Is a big project. Oh, sorry, Councillor Sadlowski? Yep.
Sure, same question as Councillor Bador earlier. How do you prioritize these locations, Renee, and decide what needs to be fixed first?
So we have a CGIS database that has our assets listed. So in that, we have our valves and our hydrants, our water mains, all of our underground infrastructure, and that has properties attached to each asset for age, condition of asset, that type of information, material. So we go through and prioritized based on age and condition of that asset, as well as any information that comes through our annual maintenance programs. So those annual maintenance programs include things like hydrant flushing, hydrant draining, valve exercising, that sort of thing. So, yeah.
Thank you. Any other questions? Yeah, Councillor Higgs.
Renee, so we budgeted 555,000. Was that for originally would that have been for the entire project? Because I know you bought some stuff in 2024. So, this isn't the fair, you wouldn't know this off the top of your head, but how much did we spend in 2024 on those particular items?
So that budget includes the capital budget for the water main replacement, as well as our annual budget for those, or our operating budget for the hydrants and valves. So last year, just for materials alone, we would have only spent about a quarter of that annual budget, which I can get you the exact number later. But we were underspent in that budget last year because those valves and hydrants were purchased last year in the intent of being replaced, and then with time constraints and contractors' issues, they weren't actually replaced last year, so we're a little behind on our annual replacement program.
Okay, fair. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Any other questions? Oh, yeah, Councillor Bador, sorry.
So I'd asked Renee earlier today to go out and count all the hydrants and valves we had, because just to fully understand, it's more of a public education thing for myself and for the public, like, you know, replacing 9s and 10s of these, but we've got how many?
We have about 350 hydrants, city-owned hydrants, and about 950 street valves. So there's a fair bit.
So fair to say we'll be doing these every year for a few more years.
Yeah, for sure.
That's good to know, though. It's interesting. Okay. If there's nothing more, then I will call the question. All in favor? That is carried unanimously. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Director of Engineering. It was a lot of work tonight, so I appreciate that. Okay, we'll move through inquiries and announcements. Yeah, Councillor Morissette.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just wanted to remind everybody that the Weyburn Public Library book sale is coming up. They're still looking for volunteers to help sort the donations for the days of the book sale, which is April 3rd to the 5th. And of course, we invite everybody to come down and purchase new books for summer reading. It's one of the biggest fundraisers that the library holds throughout the year, and that's where they get a lot of their money to give back all of the programs that they put on at the library.
Great. Thank you. Yeah, Councillor Sidlowski.
I just wanted to wish the Weyburn Red Wings good luck on their 2 away games, game 3 and 4, as they head to Battleford's today. So we hope they come back with a couple wins and can win it at home in game 5.
Yeah, let's hope that. Anybody else? All right. There is no notice of motion tonight, so I think with that, we will look to adjourn. Have a great night. Thank you very much. 6:58, 2 minutes before 7, less than an hour.
If you'd like to share your feedback on the program you just watched, contact us today